Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a former Boeing 737 pilot, and welcome to another long haul in the Boeing 737. Today we are doing Icelandair 737 real ops flying from Keflavik to Chicago. This is a real-world flight operated twice daily by Icelandair, taking between 6 to 6.5 hours. Now I'd say it's pretty loud out here, so follow me inside and then we can start with our pre-flights. Now, we are quickly going to take a seat down here in business class, just so that we can start with a look at the flight plan, you know, with a little bit of comfort and stuff. Okay, but let's go ahead and have a look at the plan, starting right from SimBrief. And this one might surprise you a little bit here, because as you can see, we do not have an ETOPS sector on this transatlantic flight, which is completely realistic though. We are departing from Keflavik up here, then we got Nuuk located right on here on our flight plan, and since this is less than 60 minutes from either airport, we do not have an ETOPS sector there. Then, in order to cross the second half, we have Iqaluit located right over here, and therefore we once again have an airport every 60 minutes, and the same applies on our way down here until we eventually set course into Chicago. So as you can see, we are pretty well covered with airports everywhere along our flight. Even though we are, of course, since they are rather rare, still going to mark them on the ND and all that good stuff that you know from your typical transatlantic flights. Looking into the significant weather chart, you can see that there's a lot of low-level stuff on there. So let's just have a look at the high-level chart. And this one starts with that area number 1 in our initial climb. And that is moderate turbulence from the bottom of the chart, which is level 250, all the way to the maximum. So we are definitely going to have turbulence here on our climb out. Then we are flying above that jet stream on our way across Greenland, and then just avoiding this area up north over here when we enter Canadian airspace. The second half of the flight is completely clear then until we got that jet stream on our way down into Chicago, but as you can see overall that's pretty easy conditions on the second half of the flight. Looking into the airport weather, Keflavik has light drizzle as we've already seen, then overcast clouds, 11 degrees, 1020, and in Chicago for our arrival time we are looking at, well, kinda typical Chicago summer weather over here. It's gonna be warm, it's gonna be nice, so overall expecting good flying conditions. We do have a departure alternate in Akureyri, however I don't think we're really going to need that one. And then our alternate at the destination is gonna be Milwaukee, and Milwaukee has beautiful weather conditions in its forecast as well, so that's nothing to worry about. Well, and that's pretty much what we need for our weather. Now looking into the rest of the plan here, we are leaving Keflavik at 16:25, and with that we are going to arrive on time over in Chicago. Apart from that, we don't really have anything special over here. So level 340 is the first cruising level, 360 the second one. Cost index 50 is a rather high cost index, but you can see we do need it so that we can make an on-time arrival over in Chicago. Remember, we still have to taxi to the gate as well. So with all that in mind, the Chicago weather could favor runway 10 or runway 27. We don't really know that. The plan is for runway 27, and that gives us roughly 19.5 tons of fuel. How about we make that 20 tons, and therefore have both runways covered, plus a little bit of arrival delay. Now, we do not actually need that. I just see that for some reason they planned with some stupid American fuel reserves, which you, like, never ever need. But that's part of the iFly 737 MAX profile. So with those 39 minutes extra in the tank, we are going to load the exact minimum, which is going to be 19.5 tons. Alright, good. So now that we've decided on our fuel quantity, let's make our way up to the flight deck and get our 737 MAX ready for today's flight. And here we are. So let's just start turning on the battery up there. External power, unfortunately none connected right now, but we can change that. Let's go to ground services and get ourselves the external power unit over there. And here we go. Power is on, then let's do the fire tests. Left side, right side, all looking good. Squips, Both sides are looking good. Alright, emergency exit lights armed. Attendant call button is checked. Let's also make sure that that thing is off. Then, fire warning, takeoff config warnings are checked. Fire warning is checked. Squawk machine, let's make sure that that thing is on standby. Voice recorder is coming on, then we can also test the flight recorder up here, and that's looking good. Alright, that is all looking good, and the IRS is into nav. Just quickly checking the maintenance light. Operates, fantastic. Alright, and then we can take a seat on the captain's seat of our Boeing 737. Now let's go ahead and start this by getting our catering services. And then we can start with a bit of a setup here. Now the IRS alignment is going to take a little while, because we are so far up north over here. Let's see how long that is going to be. Yeah, 10 minutes. Alright, that's fine with me. Well then, let's go ahead and turn up some lights. It is a daylight flight, but nonetheless, always nice to have. Alright, so we got you. No, we don't need you. But we do need you. Okay, here we go. So lights are on. You should be on 2000. And standby. Then we can do the light test up here. Make sure that all those bulbs are working. And that is looking fantastic. So you got that stuff. Then let's check the warnings. Are looking good. So let's make sure we got traffic, airport, and terrain. And the same on the other end side. And then we can do the oxygen test. And that is looking fantastic. Okay, cool. So we got the basics over here. Then let's just go and make sure we got trucks in position. And the parking brake is now released. Okay, now let's move on to the Navigraph app and make sure we got our Simri flight. Here it is. Now that en route chart is looking pretty good, and we already have the OFP on board. That's fantastic. We said we wanted the exact minimum of fuel, so let's go payload and balance, read from Simbrief OFP. That's looking good. And then you can go ahead and load that aircraft. How long is that going to take? 22 minutes. Well, that's pretty long, but okay, let's go for it. I guess the main problem here is actually the fuel, which they have to fuel up on 19.5 tons. That could actually take 22 minutes. That might actually be quite realistic. Okay, so we got that stuff. Now let's go ahead and have a look down into the FMS here. Here we go. So FMC 737 8.2. Why is that on the right hand side? No, you don't want to do that. You just quickly go into the walk around mode here, because when I plug a device in and out, the airplane can otherwise do some strange stuff. So just changing that one over in the background there. And as soon as everything is connected, which should be kind of now, we're going to go back into the flight deck. And now, actually able to operate that on the left seat as well. Okay, cool. So that stuff is checked. Then for our position, we're gonna go with Bravo India Kilo Foxtrot and copy and paste the GPS position. And then, well, we don't really need that right now. Let's do the flight plan request to uplink the Simri flight plan. Okay. Now, while that's in progress, we are gonna have a look into the Navigraph en route charts over here. Well, actually into the terminal charts, and then for the taxi we got the general airport chart, and we can also take the parking stand charts. By the way, did I ever mention that iFly actually had a couple of rather nice choices for the boarding music over here? No worries guys, this is not coming from somewhere strange on your computer, this is actually from the iFly. Okay, so we got the Ralph 3 Charlie departure, so let's find that one. So, Ralph 3 Charlie, here it is. So, the catering is just about finished by the looks of it. Well, then we can go ahead and go for our GSX and request boarding, please. Okay, fantastic. Our route has uplinked. We've got our charts at hand, so let's go ahead and have a look. So, departure arrival from Keflavik, most likely runway 19, but why don't we find out for sure by getting the departure radius? Okay, so that's 128.3. So, this one down here.
E1 QNH1020 Transition level 80 Taxiway resurfacing in progress, expect delays in the FBO area. Advise on initial contact, you have information India. Keflavik International Airport, information India. 0600 Zulu. Arriving and departing runway 19er. Wind 150 at 17. Visibility 2. Mist. Broken at 500. Overcast at 1000. Temperature 11, dew point 11. QNH1020. Transition level 80. Taxiway resurfacing in progress, expect delays in the FBO area. Advise on initial contact, you have information India.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Alright, so information India is on board here.
Information India. 0600.
So let's go on 1 to 1.5. Thank you. Okay. So runway 19 is confirmed. Then let's continue on here. We got the radar Charlie. By the way, let's quickly switch this to night mode, huh? So dark in the cockpit here with the overcast clouds and everything. Okay, for Chicago, for the time being we're going to plan the ILS approach, runway 27 center, and we have the wind 3 arrival. Coming in from Sierra Sierra Mike, that looks good. We'll take the Fogler transition, even though we are pretty sure we are not going to fly that. Alright, so on to the performance. Cost NX50 has already been uplinked. So, for the fuel reserves, we're looking at basically 2,000 kilos, so like that. Those FAR 10% is kind of annoying me, but not much we can do about that right now. Okay, so, zero fuel weight 62.4. Then, flight level 340 is the planned cruising level. The cruise winds. Well, for that we're gonna take 208 at 66, and we'll do wind uplink momentarily anyway. So, ISA deviation. Don't really have that up here, so we're gonna take the minus 40 degrees from down here. Okay, transition altitude 7,000. I'm gonna turn that into 7,001. And one limit page is looking good, and for the takeoff page 2 we're gonna have a wet runway with an acceleration height and 1000 AGL, and that should be absolutely sufficient for our flight. Okay, now 250 below 100 is in there, and for the fixed info page we'll take Bravo India Kilo Foxtrot with a 25-mile ring, and that is looking excellent. Okay, so we got all that nice stuff. Then what else do we need? Just the cruise wind. So let's go ahead and... Well, that looks like it's already been uplinked automatically. Insufficient fuel? No, definitely not. Especially not with that 39-minute FAR reserves. Okay, anyway. Load the average winds. And execute. So, let's see what it thinks we'll have.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cabin door is about to close. For flight safety, the cellular functions of electronic devices
It's not calculating. But okay. Let's give it a plant fuel of 19.5, see what we'll get then. That's probably going to give us a much better result. Yeah, 4.8. Far too much fuel. Far too much.
Flight attendants, arm and cross-check cabin doors.
But yeah, it's what we'll have to live with for now. Okay, cool. So we'll take that. Why do I hear arm and cross-check doors, by the way? Is boarding really done? How's that possible? 166 people in that short time? Nonsense. GSX bugging again. But yeah, we'll just keep going in our flow over here. So, for the departure, Ralof 3 Charlie.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Takes us straight ahead, waypoint 285, and a right-hand turn 289, and then to Ralof, and that's all tracked. Just a 220 restriction on the first waypoint, initial climb clearance by ATC, and all the rest is looking good. Okay, so nothing to worry about. Well, that's what I call easy going. Okay, good. So we got that stuff. Then let's put the EFB away and go for the rest of our flight deck setup over here.
Release, lift up on the buckle. Position your seatbelt tight and low across your hips and wear it any time you are seated. There are 8 emergency
Those should never have been off. That's a little bug. We're gonna keep the seatbelts off for the time since we are still refueling. Then let's turn all those pumps on. Cabin temperature. A little cold there, don't you think? Let's get the APU on. Okay, Chicago is in roughly 800 feet. Right igniter, and then we'll take the flight directors on. Runway 19 has runway heading of 192, I think. Something like that. Initial, let's just make it 5,000. And the courses, I'm gonna put 192 up there as well. Alright, that looks good. So, QNH 1020. Like that, let's make sure that the VORs are selected on both sides. Fuel flow reset, auto brake RTO. Hydraulic quantity is good, oil quantity is good. Okay. Park and brake is set. Then let's find our frequencies. So delivery is on 121.0. So that's 1210 and then ground 1219. Okay, that looks good. Cool, then we have those. We do not need any local VORs or stuff. Squawk machine above VOR, and you don't need the PA. Alright, so we are finished with our setup up here. Then they're just still greeting our passengers, so let's go ahead and say hello over here. Yeah, and we still have an MFRA to set. So 1130 is set. Alright, so far so good. Then let's go for our departure briefing. Threats for today's departure. I do not see any. You have any threats? Nope. Alright, cool. I like it. So let's go for our route track. This one is going to be a little bit more interesting here on a transatlantic flight. What have I done now? Okay, so Bravo India Kilo Foxtrot to Kilo Oscar Romeo Delta, India Charlie Echo 9 Victor, and the routing is going to be the Ralof tree Charlie to Ralof. The routine 64 north 30 west, 63.5 north 40 west, 62 north 50 west. Pit zone November 946 Alpha Perky, direct 5625 north 70 west, direct Vetro, direct Sierra Sierra Mike, and then we have the wind 4 arrival. Ground distance supposed to be 2655 versus 2744. That's because I selected the Vogler transition, because it is fairly likely that we're going to get a direct onto that transition at some point. Alright, fuel remaining is going to be 4.8 with a minimum of 2.0, giving us an hour extra. Okay, time UTC is 1615, altimeter 1020, reading 130. The MFRA is 1130, flight directors are on, minus master, and standby instruments are set. It's going to be a left seat takeoff, runway 19, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure number 2, wet speeds, and the engine outset is straight at 25 miles. For the emergencies, above 80 knots I will only reject for fire warning, engine failure, predictive wind shear warning, or if the aircraft is unable or unsafe to fly. If I call stop, I will simultaneously close the thrust levers and disengage the auto throttle, apply maximum manual braking over for operation of the RTO auto brakes. Manually raise the speed brake lever and apply maximum reverse thrust. When the aircraft comes to a stop, I will set the parking brake. Now, if you call stop, I will note the brakes on speed. I can call speed brakes up or speed brakes not up, and thrust reverse normal indications. I'll call 100 knots, 80 knots, 60 knots, and the runway distance remaining. Verify your actions and call in emissions. I will call auto brake disarm and select flaps 40 when the parking brake has been set, and advise ATC of the reject. We then identify the failure and carry out any drills as appropriate. If we decide to evacuate the aircraft, we redo the evacuation checklist. Time permitting, we'll pull the CVR circuit breaker, you grab the lid, and then get out. If the call before V1 is keep going, there'll be no actions below 400 feet except to cancel any warnings and raise the landing gear with a positive rate. At 400 feet, verify heading, select and carry out the memory items. At the MFRA, buck up, retract the flaps and schedule. Flaps up, no light, select level change, max continue thrust, engage the automatics, non-normal checklist, normal checklist, PIOC NITS PA, and then we will see about the plan. Our pushback is going to be with the nose to the right-hand side, and then we are going to taxi pretty much straight out here via November to runway 19. Fairly short taxi, so time management there is critical, making sure that the cabin is ready. Our departure is the Ralov 3 Charlie departure. After takeoff, contact Keflavik approach on 119.3. And in case of loss out of 1 capability, advise ATC. Well, that's standard proceduring anyway. Okay, straight at Kilo Fox 282, maximum 220, right in 289, and then to Ralov, initial climb clearance by ATC, MSA 4000, and that is exactly what we got down here. Okay, do you have any questions or suggestions? No? Fantastic, so let's call for our IFR clearance. So we are the Icelandair 9er Victor, and we had which ATIS?
Initial contact, you have information Juliet.
Thank you. That was efficient. Keflavik delivery, Icelandair 9er Victor, information Juliet, request IFR clearance to Chicago. So, the AI is thinking.
Icelandair 9er Victor, clear to O'Hare via the Ralov 3 Charlie departure. Climb 4000. Expect flight level 34010 minutes after departure. Departure on 119.3. Squawk 3415. Expect runway 19er.
Icelandair 9er Victor, clear to O'Hare via the Ralov 3 Charlie departure. Runway 19er, climb 4000. Departure 119.3. Squawk 3415.
Icelandair 9er Victor, read back correct. Contact ground on 121.9er when ready.
121.9er, Icelandair 9er Victor, bye-bye. Okay, so, runway 19er, Ralov 3 Charlie, climbing 4000. And 19.3 is pre-selected, squawk 3415. Okay, fantastic. So the clearance is on board, then let's say hello to our passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel. In the name of Icelandair, I would like to welcome you on board of our Boeing 737-8 on our flight to Chicago. Today's flight time will be 6 hours and 25 minutes, expecting a smooth ride, initially in 34,000 feet, after some light turbulence during our climb out, once we pass through the weather over here. Now, we do expect an on-time arrival in Chicago, and as per our route of flight, we're going to leave Keflavik, then head across the southern tip of Greenland. We'll make landfall in Canada near Frusha Bay, and then set course directly towards Chicago across the Great Lakes. Thank you very much for being on board. We will get back here with the latest Chicago weather when we start the approach to our destination airport. And for now, I would like to ask you to pay your full attention to the cabin crew safety demonstration that is going to commence very shortly. That is not just for your own safety, it's also for the safety of the other passengers sitting around you. So please do pay your full attention for the demonstration. Thank you very much for being on board. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And we will get back here with the weather when we start the approach to Chicago. Thank you. Alright, fantastic. So the APU is here, then we can also turn on the APU bleach in order to warm it up in the cabin. Alright, so you can start removing some equipment over here. Let's see, parking brake is set, so the shocks can go and the ground power can go. And we still have to wait for the jetway since we are doing fueling and boarding, and for that the jetway is required. Alright, another 3,000 kilos, so let's just get started with our performance here, and then we'll get back to that fuel. Now, as estimated takeoff weight 79.1, and that is hopefully with the planned fuel. Well, oh no, it's not. Are you kidding me? That should be based on this, when the planned fuel is entered. When no planned fuel is entered, that is of course based on the sensed fuel, but that's a bug. Okay, so let's do some manual mathematics here. 92.4 plus 19.5 is 81.9. So let's calculate 82 tons. So Bravo India, Kilo Foxtrot, runway 19, and that is a wet runway. Okay, flaps 5, air conditioning on, anti-ice off. Let's attempt derate 2 first. Takeoff weight 80 tons. Center of gravity, let's see what's planned. 16.3. Okay, and you can load the real weather. Calculate. And it can't do that with takeoff 2, so let's go takeoff 1. Here we go, flaps 5 and 37 degrees for a takeoff weight of 80 tons. Even though this is far above it? There's something wrong. Did I mess up the calcs? 62.4. Oh yeah, I did mess up the calcs. Okay. Yeah, 82 is correct. Let's just redo that. So still, takeoff 137. Alright, giving us 87.5. Interesting how entering the ATM did not make any difference. And we should have 87.6. We do have 87.5. Yeah, that's close enough. So, flaps 5, 16.3, giving us 7.3 units. Something like that. Okay, takeoff speeds 144, 154, 160, and that's all within 1 knot, so we can accept the FMS speeds. 161 and 161. Alright. Why is the trim unit changing? Did you just notice that? Should be based purely off the CG figure entered here. I have a feeling iFly changes it on the actual weight of the airplane. And the actual CG, not the one entered here. That's a bug. Okay, oh well. Let's start with the checklists, and by the time we're done, the fueling should be done as well. So safety inspection checklist and before start checklist down to the line. Subsystems and shocks checked, maintenance status checked, batteries on, electric hydraulic pumps on, landing gear lever down. Trips library checked, RS mode selector, SNAF, EOT armed. Gear pins 1, 2, 3 removed, probe covers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 removed, light test checked, oxygen test 100%, yaw damper on, nav transfer display switches, normal and auto. Fuel 19.5 required, 19.5 on board, and 6 pumps on. Cabin utility FE galley power on. Emergency exit light armed. Fasten notes on. Window heat on. Aircon pressed. Pack auto bleeds on set. Press mode selector auto. Instruments. Cross check. Auto brakes. RTO. Hydraulics. Normal. Speed brake. Down detent. Parking brake set. Stop and cutter switches normal. Wheel buffer warning checked. Radius, radar, and transponders on standby. Rudder and aileron trim 3 and 0. Take a briefing, discuss, PA complete, FMC CDU set, and run an ES bugs. We have automatic, reduced takeoff 1, 45, 55, 61 set. Stop trim 7.4 set. Performance weighted balance, sign and send. Phones off, EFB, airplane mode stowed. Flight runners, and cockpit door. Locked, doors closed, passengers seated. Before start checklist complete down to the line. Okay. The refueling is complete. Ground from cockpit. Hi there, please confirm that all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and the bypass pin is installed. That's all confirmed. Roger, we are calling for push. Keflavik ground, Icelandair 9 Victor, request pushback and startup.
Icelandair 9 Victor, push and start approved. Face east.
Push and start approved, facing east, Icelandair 9 Victor. Ground from cockpit. Pushback and startup approved, facing east, and we are ready to release the brakes. Roger, stand by. Stand by. Before start checklist below the line. Air compacts off, anti-collision light on, parking brake set, transponder out off, before start checklist complete. So, east has to be nose right. Okay, please release parking brakes. Parking brake released. Roger that, start on the pushback, stand by for engines. Stand by. Ooh. Did they collide? Yeah, they probably did collide. Alright, no comment on that. Okay, ground, we're ready for engine start. And we'll commence engine number 2 now. Clear 2. Engine 2 start. Alright, and 2, and 1, oil pressure. A quick motoring cycle. But then again, it's pretty cold here, just 11 degrees. Just above the boundary for having to use engine anti-ice. Didn't expect to do that this summer. Alright, the pushback is completed, please set your parking brakes. Parking brake set. Okay, start a cutout. Monitor 2, starting 1. And 2. And 1. So there's a tug. Still waiting for the ramp agent. Oil pressure.
Icelandair 216 ready to taxi.
Icelandair 216, taxi to holding point runway 19er at your discretion.
Ramp agent with a pin.
Our discretion, Icelandair 216.
Okay, ground. So, you can prepare the airplane for taxi, see with the clear signal on the left-hand side, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Icelandair 216, contact tower on 118.3.
118.3 for tower, Icelandair 216.
We can already put that up. Here we go. Okay, start a cutout, monitor 1, and 1 stable. Flight control track. Full up, full down, neutral. Full left, full right, neutral, rudders, full left, full right, and neutral. Okay, V4 taxi checklist. Generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, probe heat on, anti-ice off, air conditioning, PEX auto, bleeds on, isolation valve, auto, flaps 5 required, selected, and the green light, stop trim 7.4 required set, start levers idle turn, flight controls checked, recall checked, V4 taxi checklist complete. Icelandair 9 Victor, request taxi.
Icelandair 9 Victor, taxi to holding point runway 19 via November 4.
Taxi holding point runway 19 via November 4, Icelandair 9 Victor. Okay, so that's literally straight ahead to the runway. Very good, then we are clear on the left side, and we are clear on the right side. Why did that thing move? My mouse wasn't even nearby. Okay, config. Don't they have a dedicated sound for wipers on a wet windshield? Because this sounds like they're scratching over a dry one. Okay, before takeoff checklist, please. Config, check, flaps, 5 green light, stop trim 7.4 set. Takeoff briefing, lefty takeoff, runway 19, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2, takeoff speeds 45, 55, 61, and the SID straight out right turn, 220 knot speed limit, and for that we will have to keep the flaps in conv 1. Apart from that, initial climb 4000, contact departure 1 airborne on Bomber 9.3, and we've got nothing special on non-standard. Engine out straight at 25 miles, climbing 4000, which is also the MSA, and if we need to return, runway 19 has an ILS and good weather conditions. Any questions or suggestions? Nope. Alright. Hi, cockpit.
It is now secure for takeoff.
Thank you. Okay, cabin secure, before takeoff checklist complete, down to the line. Why is the plane slowing down? I'm not on the brakes or anything, it just stopped on its own there. The Max should have more than enough idle thrust that it keeps moving. A little different to the NGs where this could absolutely have happened. I never needed that much thrust on a 737 MAX back in the day when I flew them. Okay, so the runway is straight ahead. Should get the handoff to tower any moment. Look at that, it's slowing down again, pretty quickly even.
Icelandair 9 Victor, contact tower on 118.3. Safe flight.
118.3, Icelandair 9 Victor, bye bye. Tower low, Icelandair 9 Victor, ready for departure.
Icelandair 9 Victor, Keflavik Tower, hold short of runway 19 Embraer 191 mile final.
Holding short 19, Icelandair 9 Victor. Oh yeah, there he is. That looks nice with him coming out of the clouds and out of the rain.
Icelandair 9 Victor, hold short of runway 19 Embraer 190 on final.
Bang. He just put it down. And it's already out of sight. Something tells me the visibility isn't as good as the Asus said it would be. Is there an update?
E019er. Transition level 80. Taxiway resurfacing in progress. Expect delays in the FBO area. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Juliet. Keflavik International Airport. Information, Juliet. 0630 Zulu. Arriving and departing runway 19er. Wind 150 at 18. Visibility 1. Rain, mist. Broken at 500. Overcast at 1000. Temperature 11. Dew point 11.
Yeah, visibility went down to a kilometer.
Transition level 80.
Still, immediate return is possible.
Resurfacing in progress.
We're still well
Expect
within
delays
Cat 1
in the FBO
conditions.
area.
Okay. Runway 19, line up and wait, Icelandair Victor.
Finner 8 Romeo Delta, contact ground on 121.9er. To ground, Finner 8 Romeo Delta, thanks.
Okay, before takeoff checklist below the line. MCP, set, transponder, Tara, strobe lights on, holding at landing lines.
Victor, runway 19, winds 150, 18, clear for takeoff.
Runway 19, cleared for takeoff, Icelandair Victor.
Approaching 19.
Okay, cabin crew, please prepare for departure. Landing lights on, before takeoff checklist complete. So, a little bit of weather, but everything is green. That's nothing to worry about. Yeah, and the sound of the wipers is messed up as well. Okay, so be it. Ooh, this is maximum tiller input? Well, that's not quite right. 737 is capable of much tighter turns than this. Okay, are you ready? I'm just gonna do a halfway decent lineup here. Timing, stabilized, set takeoff thrust. Thrust set. 80 knots, checked. Rotate. Pause and climb. Gear up. Come on, eh?
Keflavik departure on 119.3.
119.3, Icelandair Victor. Keflavik departure, Icelandair Victor, passing 1,400, climbing 4,000. Flaps 1, speed checked.
Icelandair Victor, Keflavik departure identified, climb 4,000.
Okay. Let's just put that radar. Hey, what's that? Can't control the brightness of the weather returns. That's annoying. Because like this I can barely see my route and stuff. Okay, flaps up. Speed checked. Flaps up. 1,000 to go. Vertical speed. So it looks like they forgot to implement the weather radar brightness control, because the terrain brightness seems to work just fine. Climb flight level 120, Icelandair Victor. Set, 120 checked, Athena. And we've got flaps up and all lights. Yeah, 20 degrees. So, after takeoff checklist, air compressed, 1.2, climbing, set, and altimeters. 2 go. Alright, after takeoff checklist, complete. So, we're in climb thrust, and we don't need the clock any longer, and you're gonna come over to weather as well. I'm gonna stay on the small range radar, you're gonna take the large range radar. And that way we get the best possible overview of what's going on around us. Okay, so that's done that. Done a cross check, passing flight level 69 now. And that's the after takeoff checklist complete. Alright, this may get a little turbulent going through this, so I'm going to keep the cabin crew seated for now. Why did they pre-select the QNH? No, don't do that. The way you can get rid of a pre-selected QNH is just by going to local and then back to standard afterwards again. Okay, so let's ask the important question first. 22:56. Schedule is 23 something. Yep. Alright, perfect. We are on time. Alright, altimeters. Passing 100, climbing 120, 10 checks. Fuel balanced, 6 pumps on, lights off, APU off, air compressed, 3.6 climbing set, fast modes on, recall checked, and monitoring 1 to 1.5. Climbing flight level 200, Icelandair Victor. Set, 200 checked. Alright. So it looks like the weather's gonna last for another 80 miles or so that's about 10 minutes flight time. Let's advise the cabin real quick. Hi, it's Emmanuel here. Just want to let you know we have around another 10 minutes of possible turbulence ahead, and we are going to release you thereafter. So just stay seated for the time being. Thank you. Alright, the cabin is advised. Then let's take a quick moment to have a look into the airports along our way. So starting performance, real weather, and we're looking for Bravo Golf Golf Hotel. That's Luke. Request. Ooh, lovely. 19024. Okay, let's look up what kind of runway they have. Why can I not search for this? Okay, bug. Well, I looked it up off screen. Nuke has runway 0422, 20 degrees of magnetic variation. So in other words, Nuke basically has the wind down the runway, so it is usable for us. We'll keep an eye on the visibilities and stuff over there, but Nuke should be alright, at least for the time being. So, Keflavik, 427 mile ring for the 1 hour flight time, and then Nuke is gonna get 427 miles as well. And here you can see why it's not ETOPS, the two are overlapping, so that's easy going. Then let's continue with Frozen Bay, see how that's gonna look. Frozen Bay is fantastic. Forecast isn't that good, but it's prop 30, so we're just gonna keep having a look there. It's tempo, weather, light, rain, overcast. But for the time being it's good. We'll keep an eye on it as we fly along. Alright, 427, here we go. And then just a quick check. Those need to be overlapping as well, and they are. 126.55, Icelandair Victor, bye bye. Iceland, good afternoon. Icelandair Victor, level 170, climbing level 200.
Icelandair Victor, Iceland Center identified. Good afternoon, climb flight level 280.
Climbing flight level 280, Icelandair Victor. Set 280 checked, VNAV. So, 341 is optimum, 340 is planned, so we are absolutely gonna do that. Mach 79 sounds good. And that means for now, 0.79 is gonna go hard. For as long as we're in the airspace up here, and that's it for the time being. So yeah, that's what we got for the time being. Later on, once we get down here, we will enter further airports and stuff like that. But that's gonna be for later in the flight. For now, let's see, 12 degrees. I'm kinda hoping we're gonna be out of the clouds here before the temperature hits 10, so that we don't need anti-ice. If we do need it nonetheless, then that's not gonna be a problem either. Well guys, for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us, and then I see you all when we start the approach to Chicago later on. Icelandair 9 Victor passing 17,000, descending 8,000. Information Oscar.
Icelandair 9 Victor, Chicago approach. Good evening, O'Hare, altimeter 3004. Expect the ILS runway 27 center approach into O'Hare. Advise you have information India.
Altimeter 3004 will check information India, Icelandair 9 Victor. Well, my friends, we're descending towards Chicago, and as you've just heard, we are expecting runway 27 center for today's arrival. Now, we will very likely receive radar vectors at some point over here, and then they're gonna bring us in straight onto a final. Let's start with a little look into our approach. So, starting with the weather in Chicago, it's currently 360 at 10, few clouds, altimeter 3004, temperature 18 degrees. Now, let's go ahead and have a look into the approach. We are following the Wind 3 arrival, which leads us all the way over here towards Papi, and from Papi expect radar vectors to the final approach, the latest. I wouldn't be surprised if we receive vectors at some point earlier over here as well. The approach is going to be the ILS to runway 27 center, and well, that is pretty much an easy straight-in approach with a 3-degree glide slope, and the go-around leads us onto 290 track to 4,000 feet, and then to Cooney intersection. Apart from that, there is nothing special, so I'm just going to get you filled in.
Icelandair 9 Victor, I've got a shortcut for you. Turn left, heading 235, vectors for the ILS runway 27 center approach.
Left heading 235, Icelandair 9 Victor. See, I told you we're going to get that shortcut. Okay, fantastic. So we are now flying straight towards the final, and then let's just clean up that FMS over here. I think if we put Jambo on top, that's gonna be good. So,
Icelandair 9 Victor, descend and maintain 4,000.
Descend and maintain 4,000, Icelandair 9 Victor. Set, 4,000 checked. Alright, Jambo is on top, course, and insert. Here we go, that's our extended center line. And then let's switch over to level change and get that airplane down. Okay, so let's continue and do our approach briefing. So So, threats for today's arrival. It's going to be complicated taxi routing, and I don't really know where we are going to park in advance yet. So we'll just have to take things slowly and just be sure of where we are going. Apart from that, nothing out of the ordinary over here. Now, for our FMS, we got 250 below 10,000. The forecast page is now filled in, and the fixed rings are around runway 27 center, 10 miles and 4 miles. For the arrival, we got the ILS approach runway 27 center programs, starting in Jambo in 4000, then to Driscoll 2200, and then a 3-degree glide slope down to a minimum of 853 feet. We got 853, and then we got Jambo 4000, Driscoll 2200, and a 3-degree glide slope. We just talked about the go-around already. Now let's start slowing our airplane down. 250, please. So we just talked about the go-around already, and for any case, we will have 4.9 tons of fuel remaining, which means we use 300, and that's a landing weight of 67.3. Say again. Okay, so, flaps 30 for the landing, and auto brakes 3 to vacate the runway to the right-hand side.
Icelandair 9er Victor, expedite your descent to 4,000.
Roger, expediting Icelandair 9er Victor. Okay, so here's the speed brake, and off we go. Yeah, 10 checks. Fuel balanced for pumps, lights, on, bank 25, air current press, 2.8 descending set, fast modes on, recall tracked, 1215, monitoring, cabin crew, prepare for landing. And that's the 10 checks complete. Okay, fantastic. So that's pretty much all we got for the briefing. Any questions? Nope. Okay. Alright, so far so good. So we're vacating 27 center to the left, crossing runway 27 left, which is kinda the one hotspot we got. And then I assume we're gonna be parking down here on the international terminal, but we will find out. Okay, any questions or suggestions? No? Good, so that's our approach briefing completed. Then we are not receiving the ILS just yet, but that's okay. So for now, not much more we can do here, but look at how turbulent it is. Man, haven't seen that in a little while. You can see it from the outside, look at this. And now my question to you guys, when are they gonna open the sunshades? Those should definitely not be closed at this moment any longer. Latest when you're passing through 10,000, the cabin crew is going to tell the passengers to open it. Okay man, this is actually a little bit too turbulent for my taste. Let's start reducing speed. Icelandair 9er Victor, we need to reduce the speed to 10 knots due to turbulence. Let's see if the AI understands that. Okay, we're receiving an ILS.
Icelandair 9er Victor, reduce speed to 210 knots approved.
Speed 210 approved, Icelandair 9er Victor, thank you. Okay, so first check. Frequencies, 111.9, set 2 times. Fixed rings, runway 27 center, 10 miles, 4 miles. Items, India Uniform Yankee Juliet, checked and checked. Standby instruments set.
Verify you're descending to 4,000.
There we are. Okay, and course is 273. Approach checklist. Altimeter instruments, cross checked, approach aids, checked and set. Approach checklist complete. Alright. They're flying a little slower than usual, but you know, with this kind of turbulence here, you can already see how much it helps. The big problem is that when you're sitting up front in the flight deck, you feel the turbulence a lot less than the girls do in the back. Especially in the aft galley, the turbulence is usually felt a lot stronger than it is in the front of the aircraft. And therefore, you often have to do something against the turbulence, even before you would normally think that you will have to do something against it. That's just... Speed 190, Aiceland Victor. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Alright. So, I think there's Chicago downtown coming up right in front of us. Oh man, turbulence is getting stronger again. Let's actually do something about it.
Icelandair 9er Victor, turn left heading 230, descend and maintain 3000.
Left heading 230, descend and maintain 3000, Icelandair Victor. Set, 3000 checked. Okay, looks like they're vectoring us towards the final closer to Driscoll. We're probably gonna get the descent to 2200 soon. Remember, the field elevation is 700 feet roughly, so 3000 right now puts us in a 2200 AGL already. Alright, speed brakes in. Well then, let's have some fun. All manual. And flaps 5. Speed checked. Vertical speeds. So with that tailwind, let's do 180 over here. I know that ATC said 190, but you can deviate a little bit. And you know, 190 would make us really fast. And since we're about to be just 10 miles from the airport, I really don't want to be that fast any longer. So sometimes you can help yourself a little bit, but we can also see that there is no other traffic around us, not even if you go to the center mode. Things would be different if there was another aircraft like immediately behind us.
Southwest 1696, Chicago departure. Roger, good evening.
Hi, flight deck.
The cabin is not
Icelandair
secure for
9er Victor,
landing.
4 miles
Thank
from
you.
Driscoll, turn right heading 250, descend and maintain 2,200 feet until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 27 center approach, altimeter 3004.
Right hand 250, descend and maintain 2200, cleared ILS 27 center, altimeter 3004, Icelandair 9er Victor. Okay, approach armed.
25.
Terrain noted, and then approach clearance cancels any speed restriction, so we can start slowing down here. And here we go, localizer capture, glide slope capture. Runway heading 273.
Icelandair 9er Victor, contact O'Hare Tower on 121.15.
121.15, Icelandair 9er Victor, bye bye. And go around altitude set. O'Hare Tower, Icelandair 9er Victor, established ILS 27 center.
Icelandair 9er Victor, O'Hare Tower,
Alright,
Roger,
get down,
runway 27
flaps
center,
15.
cleared to land, winds 360 at 10.
Runway 27 center, clear to land, Icelandair 9er Victor. Flaps 30. Speed check, flaps 30. Okay, landing checklist. Start switches continuous, recall track, speed brake arm green light, landing gear down 3 green, auto brake 3 set, flaps 30, 30 green light, landing lights on, landing checklist complete, crew seated, clear to land.
Cargo Lux 46 Lima, hold short of runway 27 center.
Cargo logs. So we're going to see a 747. Nice.
Approaching 27 center.
Checked. A little turbulence here.
400.
500 continue.
$400. 300. Approaching minimums.
Feel that turbulence? Man.
Cargo
200.
Lux 46 Lima, hold short of
Speed is
runway
checked.
27 center.
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
Speed brakes up. Thrust goes normal. 100 knots. 80 knots. Manual brakes. And passing 60 knots. And here's the exit. Alright. Now I would appreciate if they told us whether to vacate left or right.
Icelandair 9 or Victor, exit at Echo 1 if able. Contact ground on 124.125.
124.125, Icelandair 9 Victor, bye bye.
Cargo Lux 46 Lima, hold short of runway 27 center.
O'Hare ground, Icelandair 9 Victor, request taxi to the gate.
Icelandair 9 or Victor, taxi to gate M26 via Echo Bravo, Echo Echo, Victor Victor 6, International Terminal, apron taxi lane. Good day.
Icelandair 9 Victor, taxi to Mike 26 via Echo Bravo, Echo Echo, Victor Victor 6. Good day. Alright, fantastic. With that, welcome to Chicago O'Hare. Icelandair 9 Victor, can we cross runway 4 left?
Approaching 0. 4
Icelandair 9
left.
or Victor, cross runway 4 left.
Crossing runway 4 left, Icelandair 9 Victor. Okay, fantastic. So, clear to cross, then we continue Echo Bravo. So that's initially Echo, Bravo, all the way down. And then we got Echo, Echo onto Victor. Okay, so that's here. Echo, Echo, Victor, Victor 6 to the gates over there. Alright, fantastic. So that was a really interesting final approach there. The turbulence just below 500 feet really started pushing us upwards there. And I had to correct pretty aggressively. At some point you've seen that my yoke was almost completely deflected sideways. Now that is actually realistic. For a 737 in summertime, this can absolutely happen to you. And I really enjoy that with the iFly 737, because you've got to be really active on those landings. I can totally get how that can be pretty difficult for a flight simmer when you're not used to this, but believe me, after years of flying on the 737, that is exactly what you're expecting the airplane to do. So that's actually pretty cool that they've simulated this to this degree. I mean, with some aircraft it gets almost impossible to land, and to be completely fair, in Flight Simulator 2024 sometimes there is a bit of turbulence that kicks in that is just really problematic. Like, you've seen how we just temporarily went to 20 knots above VREF all of a sudden. Now that's stuff that does happen in the real world as well, and remember, the stabilized approach criteria do not say that you are not at all allowed to temporarily exceed the limits. You can exceed them temporarily, but you have to get it under control pretty quickly. So if you have, you know, a little gust or so that slightly moves you to the side, or that slightly gets your speed up, that's totally fine, but you have to get it back quickly. Icelandair Victor, request crossing runway 27 left.
Approaching 27 left.
Icelandair Victor, cross runway 27 left approved.
Crossing runway 27 left approved, Icelandair Victor. Alright. So the strobes are on, then let's go. So yeah, that much for our approach. Really a fun one to fly, and I really liked how the gusts just about stopped when we were at about 5 feet altitude, and then we could really put the plane on the ground nicely. That was really nice. Perfect landing after a rather rough approach. But that's how this is fun. For a moment, and I'm totally honest about that, for a moment I thought we would end up in a go-around, like we did on that landing with the 737 NG in the low visibility conditions when they had all the smoke over here. I kind of thought this would end up the same way, but I'm pretty happy that it didn't.
Lindbergh 4590, runway 10 left taxi via taxi Lana Sierra Echo Alpha.
Okay, so let's go across the bridge.
Runway 10 left taxi.
What I read there, aircraft do not stop on bridge. Yep. You guys know why that is? Because with an airplane like the 747 or even the 777 in some cases, it can easily happen that if you have to evacuate, the slide may reach across the edge of the bridge, and then your passengers would just fall down from the bridge. So that would probably not be too helpful for their health, and that's the reason why you're not allowed to stop on bridges on airports. I mean, in most cases. There are some with narrow bodies where you can stop on, like with the 737 MAX over here. There are some situations where it's possible.
American 9799 ready for push.
For example, you can stop a 737 on the bridge in Munich, but with that 747 up there, they better be careful.
Cleared push and start, American 9799.
Alright, so now we're looking for Echo Echo, and then we're gonna turn left onto Victor. And Echo Echo has to be at the left-hand side, past the end of the terminal. So let's just get GSX. We're looking for Concourse Mike, position 26. So Mike 26, that's it. Handling by a shipport, that sounds good to me.
SkyWest 6016 ready for push.
Okay, perfect. So here is Echo Echo. Then we turn left onto Victor. Now the only question is, Victor 1 is here, so we continue on Echo Echo, left on Victor, and then Victor 6 to the apron. Okay, so let's get the parking gate chart.
Lindbergh 4590, give way to the SkyWest Embraer 175 on your left. Giving way to the SkyWest
Provided that it loads.
Lindbergh 4590.
Alright, cheerio 747, nice to see you. Oh damn it, there it was. Alright, so we go down here. So this was Victor 1, we continue in Echo Echo, then there's Victor just down here, and then via Victor 6, we enter for Mike 26, which is up here. Okay. Interesting, 26 seems to be a
American
little...
Niner 799 ready to taxi.
Okay, well that looks interesting.
American Niner 799.
Well, if that's what they want us on, that's what they get us on.
Kilo South, Alpha 14, Bravo, Delta, Delta.
Runway 10 left taxi via taxi Lena Kilo South, Alpha 14, Bravo, Delta, Delta, American
Alright,
Niner
so here's
799.
Victor. Now we continue straight ahead for Victor 6 and then off to the gate. We'll start the APU. And the strobe light is coming off now. I'm gonna leave both engines on because the iFly is a little underpowered. So in the real world, at this weight, if you went single engine taxi, that would be completely okay. But in the iFly, gotta be a little careful. Alright, here's Victor 4, so we go straight ahead for another 2 taxiways. Well, let's give it a little bit of power.
Taxi Lena Bravo, Taxi Lena Charlie, Golf, Quebec, Kilo, Mike, November, Delta,
That 777 freighter at the passenger terminal here.
Runway 10 left taxi via Taxi Lenico, Taxi Lena Bravo. Taxi
Okay, so here's Victor 5. We continue straight for one more taxiway, and then Victor 6 to the left. Our gate is gonna be somewhere over here, in between the Uniteds.
United 785 cleared for push and start.
Alright, I'm gonna take a little shortcut on this one here.
United 785. SkyWest 6016 ready to taxi.
And then we are approaching the turn onto the apron.
SkyWest 6016, runway 10 left taxi.
Okay, the weather radar is off.
Alpha 7 Bravo.
So we're entering down here via Victor 6, and then to the left, to the right, into into Mike 26.
Taxi lane Foxtrot West, Alpha 7, Bravo, Delta, Delta, SkyWest 6016.
SkyWest 5555, request pushback. SkyWest 5555, pushback approved. SkyWest 5555.
Okay.
EVA 683 ready for push and start.
So, there is our ground services. And that's Mike 27 there. So, lights off.
United 1027, request pushback.
And now comes the interesting question, how are we going to turn on here
1027,
without
pushback approved.
knocking that United over.
United 1027.
But I think this is going to be alright.
Give way to the Air Portugal A330 on your right.
Gotta admit, it looks damn close
Give way
though.
to the Air Portugal A330, American Niner 799er.
Brickyard 3504, request push and start clearance. Brickyard 3504, push and start at your discretion. Pushback approved, Brickyard 3504.
United 953 ready to taxi.
United 953, runway 10 left taxi via Taxi Lena Bravo, Golf, Quebec,
And
Kilo,
stop.
Mike, November, Delta, Delta.
Okay, park and brake set.
Runway 10 left
2
taxi
blue, 1
via
red,
Taxi Lena
engines
Bravo, Golf,
decks.
Quebec, Kilo, Mike, November,
Cut
Delta,
to
Delta,
all awesome
United
park.
953.
SkyWest 5244, request push and start.
Alright, and here we are. Engines running down. Then let's do the shutdown procedure, please. Alright, so let's get ourselves some trucks and the ground power units. Here we go, trucks and GPU in place, park and brake is released. Okay, transit shutdown checklist please. That's fuel pump, full shutdown checklist. Fuel pumps off, electrical on ground power, fast modes off, window heat off, probe heat auto, anti-ice off, hydraulic pumps off, voice recorder auto, air compacts off, engine bleeds on, APU bleed off, exterior lights, steady and wheel well, start switches off, auto brake off, speed brake down to 10, flaps up no light, parking brake set, start levers cut off, weather radar off, transponder 2000 standby, CB/RCB in, and cockpit door unlocked. Ooh. What's that? Did the power just drop off? Yeah. Okay. APU still there? Yeah. APU was still in the cooldown phase. Alright, here we go. Well guys, and that's what I can offer you for today. Thank you very much for flying along. I do hope you enjoyed the flight with me. Leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video. Finally, yeah, there's been sufficient space over here that we did not clip that wing of the United. And with this guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video below. Thank you very much for watching, and then I'm looking forward to see you all again right on the next one.